Hi, I'm Dustin Mason, the sales manager here at Performance Lexus. I'm going to take a few moments to walk you through one of my favorite things that we do here that differentiates us from other dealerships. And that's I'm going to walk you through a trade appraisal using our computer system here to simulate what it would be like if you reached out to us to see what your car's worth. Now, the simulation we're going to do today is on an unseen trade. It's always best to have the vehicle brought to the dealership so that we can see a little more accurately the condition of your vehicle. Maybe there's more money there if we don't need to invest a whole lot of reconditioning into it, things like that. But for this time, we'll just do a simulation. Again, I kind of just plug some numbers in here so that you can kind of see how we come up with things. This is an imaginary car, so of course it could be different in real life. But anyway, first thing I'll do is kind of share my screen with you. Now this is the computer system we use for the appraisal, and it's called VAuto. And what VAuto does that's really great is it gives us things like what they're selling for in the marketplace, how long they're taking to sell, and then it also helps us calculate what we'd have to invest into it, into the vehicle to sell it. So the first thing we're going to do is just pay attention here to the fact that I have a 2015 Lexus RX 350 with 115,000 kilometers. The notes here is that it's a clean car. It might need tires by the looks of it. Brakes feel okay. Body looks good, no accidents. So that would have been either us looking at it in person or maybe some feedback that we got from you remotely. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to take a look down here at the competitive criteria. So this is what the marketplace is saying about the vehicle. Now, for this case, I had it opened all the way to the whole country of Canada, but we could dial that back to like 1,000 kilometers from here. That still gives us 24 vehicles, which is a ton, and that gives us a lot to go off of. The next thing I'm going to do is open that up to see what they're selling for. Now, we see a whole lot of data here, and what we see is actual values that dealerships are asking for the vehicle. We see odometer and we see age. These are the three things that I look at first, and age being probably the most important when looking at these vehicles. And that's because if you can sell a vehicle in the first 30 days at a dealership or in your driveway, it doesn't matter, you can retain the most amount of profit, or you can ask the most amount for it. As the vehicle ages, gets up to the 60, 90, 100-day mark, cars depreciate at such a rate that usually a lot of that profit's gone. So usually if cars take over 100 days to sell, you need to plan for that, because if not, your profit's gone or you end up losing money on a vehicle. And again, a lot of the times it's not all about just making a huge profit, it's about not losing a whole lot. So taking a look here, I mean, it looks like a lot of them are for sale for low days, but I gotta pay attention to these ones that are sitting there for 107 days, 114 days, and the pricing associated with that. So let's just sort by odometer and kind of see what it would kind of shape up to if it was retailing right now. Now here's one that has 116,000 kilometers, selling for $26,900. Looks like it just hit the market today, which is really great. Another one we have here is selling for $24,600. It's been for sale for about 8 days. We have one up here for $25,900, been for sale for 93 days. Now for this case, I figured this particular car would sell around the $26,000 mark if it was sold at a dealership today. And that kind of puts me right in the middle here with those others. Now, being a Lexus dealership, sometimes we can do a bit more reconditioning or ask a little bit more for it versus maybe a smaller lot. A lot of the times we know where these cars are coming from, our guests that service here, trade in here, and that definitely builds some value. But anyway, going back to this screen here, once we have our asking price, which again is around the 26,000 mark, from there we can figure out how much we'd have to put into reconditioning. Now, what reconditioning and certification means to me is how much fully do I have to invest into this car? And that could be things like getting brakes, tires, but it also comes down to things like marketing the vehicle, getting it cleaned up for the parking lot, getting it pictured, advertised on a website. All those things have costs, and this is kind of where I put all of those calculations. Now for this one here, looks like it needs a set of tires. Those could be $800 to $1,000. I'm not too sure, but we'll definitely account for that. And then, maybe, set aside a few $100 for getting it, cleaned up, buffed on a website, that sort of thing. So I'm going to put my reconditioning to $1,800 and my certification to $600. If it needed anything other than tires, I'd be ramping that number up to $2,500, $3,000 if it had dents, scuffs, stuff like that, or if it needed any other major work. Now for profit objective, I usually put that to about $1,800, and the reason I do that is that gives us some room in the sense of if it does take long to sell, if we can sell it quickly, obviously we're going to try and sell it for the highest value possible, or the highest price possible. But if it takes 60, 90, 100 days, that does give me some room that I can dial back, make $1,000 on the car, cover the cost of it being here, that sort of thing. So with that said, if I put this back to 26.1 is what I had it at before, it spits me out a trade value of 21.9. Now the system is flagging that as a really high price in the marketplace. It's saying I'm at about 101 to market, which means, you know, if it wasn't a car I know, that would be really high to ask for that particular vehicle. But if it was one that came in and it was like great service history, we know the current owner, it's been well taken care of, no issues, has, you know, maybe even some warranty left, that would be an okay place to be, especially with the fact that it looks like a lot of these are selling quite quickly. However, you know, it would be a definitely more comfortable spot to be a little bit less than that, maybe around 25.7, 25.5, something like that. And a lot of times it changes. I'll start looking at a car, think it's worth this much, but then once I get into a little bit more of those details, I might have to dial it back, or sometimes I can even ramp it up. In this particular case, I think 25.5 would be the most to ask for it. I'm not super afraid of it if it's sitting around, because these cars do sell quite quickly, and I know that. And with the profit objective and the reconditioning at what we set it to, it gives us an appraised value of 21.3. Now, it is important to note that certain packages might dictate different demand for the car. A more desirable package can sell quicker or for a higher price, and etc. So for this time, I kind of didn't get into those types of details, but if it was a different car, or if it was you know, a car I could see in person, I'd be able to kind of tailor it to that, which is super important. So hopefully you got some value out of this video. This is what we do every single time, whether you're here or remotely. We can always kind of get some rough numbers until we see the car. But anyway, feel free to reach out to your salesperson or myself if you want to see what your car is worth. Doesn't matter if it's a Lexus, Toyota, Honda, CRV, doesn't matter. We'll be able to do similar kind of data for you and kind of even tell you what you could sell it for yourself if you needed to. So again, I'm Dustin Mason. Feel free to reach out, and I hope you enjoyed this video.